So this video is some of the books that I thrifted today from Goodwill. I was going to try to do a video of me actually picking them out, but it was pretty crazy in there, and it would have been hard to use both of my hands and record at the same time. So, without further ado, I got this little paperback, Rama the Gypsy Cat by Betsy C. Byers, illustrated by Peggy Bacon. And while I was in there, I just did a really quick flip of these books just to see if there was, one, pictures in them, and two, if they were pictures that were colorable. There was actually a few books that I looked at that had amazing art in them, but that was not my purpose in going there today, so I did not get those. I just got a few that I thought would be good for coloring in. The paper in this paperback is not the greatest. Probably just use something really soft, like a really light colored pencil or possibly some distress ink. The next book is kind of the same kind of paper, same kind of format, same size. Agnes McCarthy, Room 10, illustrated by I.B. Olson. Just another nice little paperback. These books are quite old. I think that date said 1966. So the art in this one, a little different. Looks fun. Not a huge amount of pictures. Kind of looking forward to doing these actually, because I might be able to have a whole finished book way before I would have a whole finished book in a normal color book. So that was Room 10. The next one is a not so old book, which is funny because it says Not So Happily Ever After on there. The Dork Diaries by Rachel Renee Russell. Paper in this is a little bit better. A much thicker book. Great pictures for coloring. I don't know what that little blob is that's on there, but that's alright, we can work around it. Lots of pictures. This book has 295 pages. It looks like somebody had a idea like I did and started coloring a couple of pages in here. That's okay. Plenty of other ones to color. This one will be fun to do embellishments in as well. And I know there's actually quite a few books in this series, and I just looked at the back of this book again, and there's a little Hello Kitty sticker on it. That one will be fun. And this next book, Remembering Miss Rossi by Amy Heston, illustrated by Heather Mayonne. Oh, and the 5 6, I should say. Yeah, 5 out of the 7 books are hardcover books. I know you've heard me say before that I do like a good hardcover book. That was not why I chose the book. It just happened to be a wonderful coincidence that the ones that have art in them were hardcover books. I will also say that hardcover books tend to have better paper in them. It's not always the case, but usually. If they're going to take the time to put a hardcover on it, then it's usually going to have decent paper. So that is Remembering Miss Rossi. Amy Hest, illustrated by Heather Mayone. This next one, cute little green book. It's fabric covered, quite old. Clown Dog by Lavinia R. Davis and Paul Lantz. This one is going to be a little bit different than the rest. I almost didn't get it because, you know, it had that color in it already, but I thought that would add to the challenge. So I went ahead and got it anyway. There was another one that had just, you know, one color in it like this book. But I thought one is enough, because if I really don't like doing it, then I don't want to be stuck with two books. So I thought I would give it a try, see how it works out. Also, these books at Goodwill, they were 2 for $1. I did end up having an odd number, but it was nuts in there and I wanted to get the heck out. So next book, Something Big Has Been Here. Poems by Jack Prelutsky. Drawings by James Stevenson. It's a bunch of short poems for kids. This paper in this book is absolutely fantastic. This is going to take all kinds of wonderful mediums, which is great. Another hardcover book. Lots of pages in this one, lots of little pictures in this one. This will be a good one to just do some quick little pictures here and there when I don't have time to do a whole big page or 2-page spread. So that is Something Big Has Been Here. Poems by Jack Prelutsky. Drawings by James Stevenson. And the next one is Never Empty. An African Tale retold by Letta Shantz and illustrated by Sylvie Selig. It's a nice little, almost newspaper-ish type blurb that they put in there. Paper in this book is actually quite cool. I don't know if that's printed on there or if it's actually little fibers, but it looks like some very natural, interesting paper. I thoroughly enjoy the artwork that is in here, and it is printed in dark brown. It's not printed in black. I don't know if that'll be helpful or not. I don't know. I also like how the picture is oriented on the pages. Creases aren't always fun, but it'll add some interest, I think. So I will be reading these books as I'm coloring. I don't know how anyone could possibly color in a book and not read it while they're doing so. Just my way of showing the respect to the book and the author and the illustrator, you know, reading it while I'm doing so. I hope they don't consider me coloring in them sacrilege or anything like that. So the next two books are books that I have had for quite some time. They were actually in my family history that I happen to have in my house that we've had since like 1845 is the earliest date that I saw. The Our Islands and Their People. It is a 2-volume book set. They are ginormous. They are heavy. There's a normal sized color book on there, just to show you how big it is. I'm not sure I'm going to color in these. They do have some pretty cool black and white photos in there. That says Merry Christmas to Noel Dunning. Noel Dunning is my great grandfather. I don't know who MM is, but I'm sure I could find out if I look through a few things. There's a few color photographs in here, not many. The book itself is in pretty poor condition. That's really the only reason I would consider coloring in it. I looked them up to see how much they were worth, and if they're not in very good condition, then not much. So it's our islands and their people as seen through camera and pencil. Pencil. And it does say on there that both books were $15, and this was in, you'll see here, 1899. I looked up the difference between $15 in 1899 to what it would be now, and it was about $510 now. So just an idea of what somebody was actually spending on these books. It's not something that just anyone would be able to get. I'm not saying that my family had money. I'm just saying that it's just not something that was super available to a lot of people. So that was volume 1. And you can kind of see the cover's pretty beat up. Volume 2. It was quite dirty, and at one point it was even a little moldy. It isn't now, thank goodness. This one says Merry Christmas to Donald Dunning. That would be Noel's brother, my great uncle. Again, it has that intro. And obviously this book is very outdated. There is, a lot of things in here that might trigger a few people. So if I did color, it would be something that was not too awful crazy. That is a statue in Hawaii of a past king. I did look that up, and it's actually a really cool looking statue. That would be one that I'm definitely going to color. And then, there's things about the Philippines in there, which the Philippines are no longer a U.S. territory. So, very outdated, kind of nuts. It's from 1899, so, and gifted in, I think it said 1916 or 1901. I don't know. I'll have to look at that again. Anyway, looked at that picture, thought it was cool, and I marked it. Again, not sure if I'm going to color in these. Probably have to talk to my sisters about that too. So that's the books that I got to color in and possibly color in. So these are a couple of the books that I had just showed you. I went ahead and picked a couple of pages in a couple of the books to show you what I would do. I decided to do Distress Ink and Rama the Gypsy Cat. That paper is very, very thin. I don't think that it would take too much moisture or pressure, so I am going to use Distress Ink. I use that little makeup brush. I actually rarely clean them. I just kind of wipe them off really good before I do it. I just take that brush, rub it directly on the pad there, and then just start applying it to the paper. That one was a gray. I really need to read the book before I know what color it is, that cat, but we're going to make that one gray. And with distress inks and a brush like that, it's not something that you can be too awful precise with, which is okay. Not going for fine art quality here. And I took a little bit of yellow, and again, I don't clean my brush in between. It's pretty dry ink. Put a little bit on the daffodils there. And I think I did, oh, I put a little bit on that bee. There's a little bee there. And then next, I believe I went with orange to put on, or maybe brown. I think I put brown on there. Yep, that's brown. I also, when I'm doing these, because I don't clean my brush out in between, go from light to dark. And if I need to do something a little bit lighter before I clean out my brush, then I'll just wipe it really good on a tissue or another piece of paper. So now I'm going for the orange. I'm going to do that butterfly orange. Again, just very lightly, very dry, applying these colors to this. So I wanted to put some blue for the sky. And this one was the lighter blue. It's kind of more of an aqua-ish. There it is. Just put that in there for the sky. Again, not being very careful. Don't care if I get it on another color. It's not the end of the world. Just trying to make an impression. And then lastly, I did the leaves. And I believe I did the medium green that I have. That light green that's there looks more like a neon yellow when it's down usually. So there is the first page in Rama the Gypsy Cat. I'm going to call that good, other than I think, yep, I put a little bit of super tip there in the eye, very, very lightly. That paper is super thin. You can see it didn't go through hardly at all. Worked out quite nicely. Do need to date that page. I guess I'm just not sure what the date is today. I think it's the 3rd. I could be wrong. There's me trying to figure out what the date is. Set it off to the side, let it dry. It did come through a little bit, but that's okay. Very thin paper. And the next one, I decided to do a quick color in Something Big Has Been Here. So I decided to do that little guy right over there. Oh, I put a marker in the realm of the Gypsy Cat, so I remembered to date it. So we're doing Densen Dumb. I'm doing this with super tips, a little bit of Jelly Roll Moonlight, and a little bit of Jelly Roll White, but mostly super tips. And this is real time. I didn't speed it up or slow it down. This went super, super quick. So next I colored his hair. I decided to go with the brown. I originally was thinking red, but I decided to go with the brown. We'll get crazy with some other pieces. I do like that it is somewhat grayscale. It's got a good amount of shading. I decided his pants were going to be jeans, so I found me a nice denim blue. And after I did the denim blue, I looked for a green for the shirt. And again, just using mostly super tips, even though this paper is amazing. There's going to be a lot of mediums that will do really well with this paper. It's good and thick. So next I decided to do a shirt in a green. Just keeping it simple. Like I said, the shadows are already there, somewhat grayscale, so I was thinking about doing his shoes brown, but then I decided on a gray because I wanted to put a little bit of ground on where the shadow is, where he's standing. So there's the gray shoes. Oh, I decided to, I guess I didn't color on the shadows where the skin tone was, so I went back and colored over that, which you may not see from that camera, but in person that made a huge difference. Then I found my ground color and just scribble a little line of ground. Then I used my Jelly Roll Moonlight neon colors, outlined those light bulbs. Then I got my Jelly Roll Light white. Did little highlights on the bulbs. Little highlights on the light bursting out. And that was it. Oh, not it. Put the little chrome paint pen where the metal parts of the light bulb sockets are. And the poem reads, Densen Dumb, with pomp and flair, planted light bulbs in his hair. Now, however dark the night, Densen Dumb is always bright. A bunch of silliness in here. I look forward to coloring more and reading more. That is just a quick little something out of Something Big Has Been Here, poems by Jack Prolinsky. I thank you again for stopping by, watching these videos, and I will see you next time.